I am Tim Grönefeld. I'm a watchmaker. I'm coming from a family watchmaking business, so my grandfather was already a watchmaker, my father was a watchmaker, now I'm a watchmaker, and my brother is also a watchmaker.
Hello, I'm Bart Gronefeld, Tim's older brother. I'm 44 years old, Tim is 41 years old, and initially we needed to take over our parents' shop, so we needed to study something in the domain of watchmaking or jewelry, but we were very technical guys, and that's why watchmaking attracted us much more than jeweler or engraver. We like to have the technical side of it, with the wheels and the levers. We like that very much. For the study, I went first to the Dutch watchmaking school. To learn more, I needed to go to Switzerland, and we found out about WOSTEP, a very good school in Switzerland. And I was the first Dutch student in WOSTEP.
I was younger, so actually I did exactly the same. I went first to a Dutch school, and then I decided also to go to Switzerland to the WOSTEP school.
So I went to work as a watchmaker in London for 1 year, went back to the WOSTEP, finished the course on complicated watches, and then I got a job offer in Switzerland to work for Gronefeld Watches, to work on complicated watches.
I was still in school, in WOSTEP school, and then at that time Gronefeld Watches was looking for more watchmakers. Really quickly I came to be responsible for making tourbillon watches, tourbillon cages, regulating tourbillons, so that was really my passion, still it is.
After 7 years, and we thought, okay, now's the time for us to go back to our country, back to our family.
You know, we really wanted to set up our own workshop in the Netherlands. We really wanted to make watches, so that's why we started our company as watchmakers. It's a family business, watchmaking, but the brand, the Gronefeld brand, is something from Bart and me. We built it together. We launched our first watch in 2008. That was a tourbillon minute repeater. It was our specialities in the watch. The minute repeater from Bart and the tourbillon from me. And that's how we started.
We have one vision together. We know exactly, even without talking, we know what direction we have to go. And sometimes it takes only a little sketch to show each other what to do. The Gronefeld watches, it's a very high-end watches. It's no question about that. There's nothing else that we like more to working on really high-end watches, and especially the traditional watchmaking. They with traditional materials, but with a very contemporary design. We would like to build watches really for the future, that it's serviceable in 100 years old, and I would like to see that our grandchildren will see something that granddads Bart and Tim created 100 or 200 years ago, and it still needs to be serviceable. It's very important. We are also using complications which are very from the past. Like now we have the jumping seconds. It's something people associate sometimes with a quartz watch, but actually that mechanism was already there like 150 years ago, well before the invention of the quartz watch.
Our design of our Gronefeld watches, it's contemporary. We try to keep it as a Gronefeld watch, that it has a really strong DNA also for the future watches. So it means the design of the dial, the case, the hands, the movement, the stainless steel bridges, everything will come back in the future. So it will have a really strong Gronefeld look, the watch. Also one thing is really important in our design is that design shows functions.
1 Hertz, our second model in the Gronefeld collection, it needed to be a really different watch. So first of all we started with the design of the bridges. You can see the different shape of the bridges. For each wheel we have one bridge. The beautiful hand finished bevels on the bridges on stainless steel. It takes a lot of time to achieve, but the result is really nice. On the front of the dial we have actually the main complication is the jumping seconds. So that one has a really large dial, and the hand is just underneath the crystal. The second function is the 3-day power reserve. Because it's a hand-wound watch, I think people need to see the power reserve so they don't forget to wind the watch. Third complication in the watch is a special winding setting mechanism. Instead of pulling the crown out, you have to push the crown, it clicks to the setting, and people can set the time. For the movement, it has the unique about this deadbeat seconds is it has a second gear train, and between those two gear trains there is actually a second escapement. From the high frequency of 3 Hz, it reduces it to 1 Hz, and that makes the jumping seconds. From the first sketch to the first watch, it took us 2 years. Once all the components are rough on our bench, it will take about 3 to 4 weeks just to do the finishing, and it takes about 2 weeks to assemble the watch. So it's about 5 to 6 weeks to just assemble and finish up one watch. The collection of the 1 Hz exists from 3 families. That's a classical dial family. And then we have the 1 Hz Fire and Ice, which have a colored dial, the little bit more sporty looking watches. And then we have also the very technical looking one that's with open dial. And then it reveals more of the movement from the front. And that's called the technique. Ekaterina, the owner of Ekso Watches Galllery, she came to us and asked us to come over to Paris. And we didn't hesitate for a moment. We are very proud here to be among very famous watchmakers in this room. They will be legends in the future, and hopefully Gronefeld Watches will be also a legend. But our future watches will have complications, always complications. They will always have unique features to it. But we like to keep the same style of case, like a contemporary design, but classical as well.